फैसल भाई मैं अगर माइंड ना करे मेरे पास दूसरी मशीन है और कुछ हमारा काम चल रहा है ऑन साइट पे। मैंने उनको बताया तो है मैं अवेलेबल नहीं होऊंगा, बट इन केस दे पॉप अप प्लीज।
If they pop up, you can excuse, but you will be losing time. Uh,
Yes, I already informed them, but in case because the guys are on site, so in case something happen,
where do you work at the data center? Where are you right now?
I am working actually with the supplier where we the system vendors actually we take on the projects and then the whole
So
project
you guys are system
executions.
integrators.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Whereabouts, like
Sorry, sir.
whereabouts, where are you based right now?
I am based in Dubai.
Dubai. Okay. All right. So we should start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So today is 5th of December, and we have Muhammad Afzal here with us. This is his final exam. Um, I have your presentation in front of me right now. Just trying to open it right now as we speak. So you have sent me a PowerPoint. I can open that easily. Okay, Bismillah. So the topic is, as it is mentioned here, the topic is automated compliance and AI enhanced risk management for hybrid multi-cloud deployment, right? This
Yes.
is a very loaded topic, as you can see. Uh, the presentation is going to be focused on objectives and key areas of focus. So just yesterday, we had a very good use case, right? Where a person came with 55 slides. So I hope you don't have any 55 slides, as I can see, which is a very good slide because I reviewed some of them. And there is one picture that I really like, and I mentioned that from time to time, putting the cart before the horse, right? So you use that as well. So it's very good. Um, so I hope that we are clear in terms of the rules and the rules of engagement for this presentation. It is pretty straightforward. You will have 15 minutes to present, followed by around 15 to 20 minutes, minimum 15, maximum 20 minutes that you can present it to me. And then the maximum duration is going to be for the Q&A is going to be 40 to 45 minutes. Okay. That will conclude the session. We have recently seen a lot of malicious activity by by basically the students. Alhamdulillah, we have now secured the Pearson, right? Accreditation as well. So EduQual was the first step. We got Pearson. Now we're going for off call, and after that, the OFS. So there's a hierarchy that we have to follow. Uh, for the off call purposes, we had to deploy advanced monitoring of things, right?
Yep.
Your report is being analyzed right now by the AI. And what it does is, I just came out of the meeting. We gather a lot of analytics on our students, what time they're logging in, what time they're logging out, what time they're studying, how much are they studying, how they're watching the videos, how they're doing this. Now we have assignments, labs. There's a ton of things coming in, right? So that is going to evaluate, and it will keep on evaluating multiple data verticals, right? So multiple data vectors. So essentially, we will let you know the results in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks time, right?
Okay.
If a person hasn't committed any fraudulent activity, he doesn't have to worry about it. So recently, many students started coming to us. I haven't done this, I haven't done that, or etc. etc. Uh, if you haven't done anything wrong, you don't have to worry about it. If you have done something wrong, then yes, you should worry about it,
Uh,
right? Okay, so your name is Muhammad Afzal, right?
yes, my name is Muhammad Afzal.
Okay, can you give me your background before we start?
Background.
I mean, what do
Yes.
you do, where you are based, uh,
Uh,
stuff like that.
yes. I am based in Dubai, in fact, from last 14 to 15 years,
It's a long
working.
time.
Yes, that's really a long time. Working in different companies. Initially, I was in a telco, so-called Etisalat, worked over there 4 to 5 years, and then moved on to another company, and then to a third company. Initially, I start my career from military in Pakistan. So
Okay.
I started my career very early when I was too young, somewhere 17 to 18 years old. Initial training for 3 years in electronics technology, and then I took early retirement after 10 years of service. And then I say, okay, let's explore outside from.
What is your base qualification prior to getting registered here?
I have done my master degree in information technology very long times in 2005 and 6
Okay.
from virtual university, which usually, it was the first. I was having no opportunity, and I was thinking to pursue my higher education, and in fact, to work and then to keep on education, it was really very hard, and there was no any other option. And this was their first batch, which they started in 2005 and 6, and I was one of those, the very first guys who took this.
How old are you right now?
I crossed 40.
Across 40. So 40 plus?
I am 42 at moment.
42. Okay. All right. Okay. You like this is the prime age, for applying for leadership roles and stuff like that. That's why I'm asking because you've already done your master's, be that as it may from virtual university, right? But you have now, once you conclude and complete all the things, we will let you know. Just give me 1 minute.
Yes.
So the reason I'm asking is that, you know, depending on the results of what you go through and what happens, right? There's a good possibility for you to move to the States or to UK, right? Uh, Depending on how things move forward, let's go and take a deep dive into all of these things. Okay, your topic is pretty good. It addresses all the key things which are going through in the industry right now. Okay, what is your role right now? What kind of position you work on?
Initially, I am a project engineer, which
Project.
take over the responsibility from system engineering as well as to the on-site customer installation activities plus customer support. I mean,
You do
pre-installation,
all
then
the hands-on
post-installation.
stuff from A to Z.
Yes.
That gives you a very good, so that gives you a very good insight of how things are really done in on the front lines, right? So that's going to be very good experience for you if you want to proceed further. Okay. All right. Okay. So 15 minutes of presentation, minimum 15, maximum 20. Stick to the topic. I want to see how you deliver on the objectives and the key areas of focus, right? And then followed by the Q&A session. I will ask you questions regarding all of these things. I wish you the best. Please
Thank
proceed.
you. Thank you. I have two screens. Let me then bring over.
Your screen is getting faded and then it comes
Yeah,
back. Like it's
yeah, the
because we need
reason.
that clean because of the artificial intelligence is going to perform sentiment analysis on your video, right? So it needs to see your face.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. I was having the second machine, which was really very nice machine, directly built-in camera. This is additional camera which I bring in is over here within 5 minutes. So I let me see. I don't know
You
why
want
I
to
am.
reschedule it?
No,
Now will it
no, no, no,
allow
no,
it?
no, 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 no. Sorry, I don't want. Honestly, I took a time to do that, and I would like to implement immediately. So let me screen my share. I have two screens. So yes, is it visible, sir?
Yes,
Okay,
I can see it.
then start. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everybody. My name is Muhammad Afzal, and today I am going to present a task for my diploma in artificial intelligence. The presentation topic is automated compliance and AI enhanced risk management for hybrid multi-cloud development. We will deep dive in. We will look for key areas, the GRC compliance challenges in multi-cloud. Then we will look AI-driven compliance management, how AI is helping in compliance, how AI is helping in threat detections, risk management, and then definitely we look for cloud well architecture and cloud shared responsibility metrics. Let's have a quick introduction, the cloud computing. In recent years, the modern IT infrastructure, the landscape has really changed a lot. And due to its distributed nature, the concerns related to compliance, security, protection of data is really at risk. Then why the importance of regulatory compliance? Regulatory compliance, especially in cloud computing, refers to adherence of laws, regulations, and standards uh, to data protection, privacy, and security. The data privacy landscape with stringent regulations like General Data Protection Regulation in Europe, California Consumer Privacy Act in USA, industry standard best practice like ISO 27701, and health insurance industry and the payment industry like PCI DSS. Why it's important? Achieving and maintaining regulatory compliance, especially in multi-cloud environment, is crucial for organization to ensure legal adherence, and second is mitigating potential risks. Quick overview of cloud computing. Cloud computing is a combination of, we usually use three main terms over here. Private cloud, which is solely exclusively use of a single owner. Hybrid cloud is a combination or a composition of either public cloud and private cloud, or private and on-premises resources. When we talk about the multi-cloud, it comes in multiple cloud, either from one service provider to the second service providers, where we talk, let's suppose AWS, Azure, or GPC, and they are connected in a single heterogeneous network. So how AI compliance, how AI-driven compliance works. When we talk about AI, so we talk a term so-called compliance as a code. So why compliance as a code? In current scenario, whenever we are working in multiple clouds, either AWS, either Azure, or some other GCP, XYZ, everything is written in the code. And it's really very important to write all these compliance as a code. So what is the compliance as a code? So compliance as a code is a practice where compliance specifications are written in a code, and then they are integrated to the development lifecycle. The tools and the multiple cloud provider, what they have, let's suppose if we look on AWS config, so AWS provide a service which is so-called AWS config. So what this config do, the config rules, we write the config rules in terms of a compliance as a code framework. The AWS config, what it does, it continuously assess, monitor, record different resource configuration, and it looks the configuration changes against the desired state. So then it compares what was the original configuration and what has been changed. Similarly, if we look for Azure, so Azure is really good as it goes to each resource and it applies per policy per resource. It gives actually Azure policy and Azure blueprint. They are somehow the combination of both. They compose of multiple artifacts. Policies can be combined in a package, and then they could deploy as a governance as a code. Then we have our open source tool, which is so-called Cloud Custodians. Again, Cloud Custodian is an open source tool which also follows the compliance as a code principle. It manages multiple cloud resources into a single unified solution. It really implement policies when we deploy in combination with Azure or AWS, we get fully confidence that really whatever we are deploying with the help of cloud custodians, it's really compliant. What the benefits we have with the AI-driven compliance? With the help of AI, actually, we automate the labor-intensive tasks. It improves our compliance reporting and auditability with lower operational cost. It ensures that our IT infrastructure at whatever the applications we have deployed, they really adhere to the regulatory and our security standards. The second is, as I explained earlier, we will look how the AI-driven threat detections and response works. AI model, especially if we look in Microsoft Sentinel and AWS Azure Guard Duty, what they do, usually they deploy the machine learning activities and they actually detect subtle anomalies in large volume of data. They detect behavior, and based on those behavior patterns, they build the models and they predict potential risk, enabling early detection and proactive response. What does it mean? Early response mean we detect the things early, which is so-called mean time to detect. And as soon as we detect, it's mean we can respond them. The second term is so-called mean time to respond. So the tools which help to do this, Microsoft Sentinel, which is a cloud native SIEM and SOAR with the capabilities of SOAR orchestration tool. We can deploy it on both premises, either on premises and in multi-cloud. And what it does, it really ingest data, monitor, alert, and then it responds. It apply the machine learning mechanism and hunt for suspicious activities. And we can write the playbooks as we very famous term playbooks nowadays. So then the playbooks can be deployed, and then we don't need to do the activities again and again, the repeated task. If we look on AWS, so the AWS have a guard duty, which is really again a tool which really looks for malicious activities and it generates alerts. It accurately detects and responds the threats early. So what is AI-driven threat detection and response? What we get from this? We get from AI-driven threat detection and protection response uses, we move from preventive maintenance to proactive maintenance because we got the information well on hands. Below a small picture which shows that how AWS and Azure we integrate, as AWS is well integrated with the AWS 3, the bucket, and then Azure Sentinel has the capability to integrate seamlessly with other cloud provider. So whatever we collect the logs from AWS Guard Duty, CloudTrail, whatever, they goes to S3 and then AWS Azure with through Azure function, it can fetch the data. So next term, our next thing what we would like to see is AI-driven compliance, CI/CD pipelines. As nowadays we know, the CI/CD pipelines are very important and they are very famous. Why we use, and especially when we use the AI in the CI/CD power lines, it helps to automate and optimize the build, test, and deploy process. We can enforce the compliance policies on the resources during the productions of the code. Later on in the later stage, I will show a diagram which will represent a complete flow diagram that how we can put the policies on each resource, how we deploy and how the build process will help. The tools which helps is really over here in AWS code pipeline, and then in Azure, we have Azure DevOps pipeline. Both work in somehow the same way. They can be deployed to, we can write the code in any language, and then it can be deployed to in any platform. And what it does then, when we have a fully matured CI/CD environment, and which is really a fully automated, and what it does, it allows code to be deployed with high confidence. This is what we get from AI-driven CI/CD pipelines. Now, AI-driven risk assessment. As a risk assessment is very important in each and every aspect of life, and especially when we talk the cloud computing technology. And AI, particularly machine learning, is offering transformative capabilities to identify and mitigate risk proactively. According to the IBM Cost of Data Breach report, organization this is a comparison between the organization who use ML and the organization which don't utilize ML. So using ML for security incident response reduced breach cost by an average 3.58 million. It was reported by IBM in 2021. So, but the tools, AWS SageMaker and Azure AI are the tools which have a really comprehensive tools, which provides us the capabilities that we do the risk mitigation, risk assessment. Amazon SageMaker, a very famous tool, which we build, train, and deploy pre-built models. What it does do, then we do the object detection, image classifications. It automates the detection of suspicious transactions. Let's suppose this can be used for the fraud detections in banking sector or some other financial institutes. Then if we look for Azure, so Azure AI, it actually advanced AI services recommended specific action to mitigate risks. What does it mean? It proposed the specific action against a specific activity. It predicts vulnerabilities in system and applications. We can use NLP, sentiment analysis. It does the image analysis, object detection, and then the text summarization. What are the benefits with AI-driven risk assessment? With AI-driven risk assessment, we got proactive threat detections, proactive risk management, and risk identifications. It helps to, as soon as we have threats are detected early, it helps us in decision making. We can move the decision. It helps to make decision faster and early. It increases the operational efficiency because we have already taken the decision, because we have already detect the threats so early. And overall is how the security posture and risk management. Then here are a very quick overview of a few AI-driven models: RCF Detect, K-means algorithm, SageMaker, IP anomaly detections. These are the different models which are already built in, and we can use these models. Let's suppose RCF Detect is used for well-structured or patterned data. K-means algorithm we use to discrete functions, to discrete grouping within a data, such as similar or as possible functions. And this can be used especially in where we have a huge transactions histories. On the other hand, Deep Sage DMaker, it also have a scalar time series using recurrent neural networks. This model can be trained to generate forecast for the future of the time series. And at the end, IP anomaly detection. This is, I will later on in a case study, I will represent that how AT&T company use IP anomaly detection to identify the threats. And what does it do? It actually access and it finds the similarities and between user IDs, account numbers, from where the IP is coming. Either IP is coming from trusted network or are from untrusted networks, or from the bad actors. AWS Open, this is a pipelines, as I was mentioning earlier. So this is a complete pipeline, how we do a pipeline, how we apply the codes over here, how we do the scanning, how before deploying to the staging or production environment. Should I go over here, sir, explain it, or we do it in the later stage?
You can, as long as you have the time, you can explain some of the things. I will be asking you a lot of questions anyway regarding all of these areas.
Okay, so then I will continue and we will come back later. Thank you. So the next stage is actually the cloud share responsibility model. What is cloud share responsibility model? Actually at its core, the responsibility split depends upon the specific cloud service model in place. But the service providers are the customer, and this is actually a thin line in between the responsibilities. Whatever the model we choose, either we choose infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service. So it distinguish whatever the responsibilities we have. In terms of infrastructure, the customer managed application security, database, and operating system, while all the other hardware or compute services we got from service provider. Platform as a service, the customer as being, if I am a customer, so I have to manage only my application. All other security, operating systems, hardwares, we get it from the service provider. And software is as a service is again where we get complete package. We need to just write our codes or deploy them, but all other either hardware, software we get from the service providers. Cloud well-architected framework. The cloud architect framework is a structured approach to design, implement, governing, and managing cloud-based solutions. With the help of well-structured framework, either from Google, either from AWS, or from Azure, or from the Microsoft, this is the baseline. Whatever, if we would like to deploy a solution either on a single cloud or either on the multi-cloud, and we want that our services are really meeting our regulatory requirements, they are scalable, they are secure, they are cost effective. So we have to have to follow the guidelines or these 6 pillars of cloud well-architected framework. There is operational excellency will focus always on the operation, how to optimize, how to automate the things to bring the operational as excellence as possible. Security, identify access management, data protections, how we protect the data, what are the rules, regulations, what we can do. This is the security. Reliability comes in the failover terms. Whenever the system fails, how reliable, how it fails and how it come back as soon as possible, the recovery mechanism. Performance efficiency, again, operational excellency and performance efficiency somehow, in some ways they are treated as a one, but in fact they are not, because in performance efficiency we look for the resource optimization. Cost optimization, again, look where how we manage our cost. There are multiple mechanisms, either looking, if we talk about in terms of AI, so AI looks comparison between AWS, GCP, and other cloud provider, what the pricing model is, and it then gives us a feedback, okay, this price is higher, and then we depends upon our requirements, we use multiple strategies. Sustainability, this framework is only with AWS, although other don't have, either the GCP or Azure, they don't have sustainability. Sustainability is actually the environmental impact. We have to look whatever the resources are deployed. So, case study. This is a case study, as I was mentioning earlier. AT&T is a cybersecurity. They use Amazon SageMaker for their development. So what they say is the ML models can detect patterns in data that traditional rule-based systems may overlook, extracting user-specific patterns to generate customized alerts. By grouping similar models and host them together using Amazon SageMaker multi-model endpoints, team was able to process about 100 million events using Amazon SageMaker multi-model endpoints in 1 month. With the help of SageMaker, they build, they train the models, and what they got they got the cost optimization. It was almost 30%, the cost was reduced because they built the model which was really scalable and cost effective. False positive alarms. The false positive alarm was significantly reduced, almost 40%. Productivity was increased from 50 to 60%. Why the productivity was increased? Because they deploy the model, and usually whenever they are developing a model, it takes almost 20 to 30 days. And with the help of SageMaker, the model development was so reduced that within 1 or 2 days they can deploy a model. Smart threat reductions. Hello, Faisal, are you
Yes,
here?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay.
Proceed. I'm
And
just
then,
taking some
oh,
notes.
okay. Then they improved their threat detections and reduced analysis time by almost 70%. This was with the help of Amazon SageMaker, whatever they got. And last but not least, the keynote. Cart before the horse. Usually, this is what we learn from you, sir. Thank you so much for these terms. And this is usually we use in people, process, and technology. But if we look in terms of AI, what's happening over here in nowadays, as artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming our worlds, new AI-enabled systems are revolutionizing and benefiting nearly all aspects of our society. But these developments are not without challenge. Everything has its pros and cons, and AI is coming with these risks. So these risks makes AI as a challenging technology to deploy and utilize. And without the proper control, AI system model can amplify, perpetuate undesirable outcomes. So what we need a responsible AI practices which could help to mitigate these risks. Thank you so much. That's the end of my presentation.
Okay, the presentation was good. Did you use artificial intelligence to review the presentation and stuff like that?
Uh, no, honestly, I try to get help initially. I really spend a lot of time. What is the mean? I try to create multiple models, presentations that how AI could help me in all these things. But honestly, okay, I really get a lot of information from AI. Definitely, definitely.
Yes, yes. No, that's okay. So I'm just asking you because there are marks for that as well. So that's good. The presentation was good. It was precise. It was small, not like 55 slides. One of the brother came with 55 slides yesterday. Uh,
Okay.
so just today we were talking, and but anyway, this was pretty good. Uh, the flow was better. The presentation was good. The knowledge was good. I have no problems whatsoever. Right? We have to test the knowledge and see how it goes, and then we will proceed further in terms of like what happens. Okay? Are you ready for the Q&A?
Yes, please. Sure.
All right.
Just would like to inform sir one thing. The presentation, the diagram which I have in my presentation, I send as a JPG file, but I have created using draw.io the complete diagram.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
That's good. That's
it,
something
it's
we use
open.
as well on our side. Yeah. That's okay. I don't need the draw.io basic
Just to
diagram.
inform that I have done it with my own hands.
That's good, mashallah. That's good. Okay. All right. So let's jump into the Q&A session and ensure that you cover everything. Okay. So the Q&A is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to ask you a series of questions about all the things, right? One of the things I would like to ask you is that, uh, let me open the presentation.
Can I open my presentation as well?
Yeah, you can, you can, you can. So can you explain how K-means clustering could be used for customer segmentation in a multi-cloud environment? You
Uh,
mentioned K-means clustering, right? Some of the methods of data analysis utilizing AI, right? So how can you do that?
The k-means algorithm is actually we use to find the discrete grouping actually within a data.
Mhm.
It finds the similarities between transactions, or it finds as different as possible. The term is used as similar as possible or as different as possible, and it finds when we develop this model. So this model give us the similarities and differentiation in the transactions flow. So when we deploy this model, so then it really it helps the organization to identify the
So in
pattern.
the case of customer, I'm asking you in the context of customer segmentation, right? K-mean clustering is the essential answer is an unsupervised machine learning, right? There is supervised and there is unsupervised. So K-mean clustering is an unsupervised machine learning algorithm, something we taught you in the course in the AI
Yes,
ops.
yes,
It's
that's correct.
extensively used throughout the organizations. They've already started implementing these things, right? So my question is, for customer segmentation, you have to segment the customers. You are a system integrator going to the US, working for Amazon. They have millions of customers. How can they use k-mean clustering for segmenting, customers in a multi-cloud environment? How can they do that?
If we,
So let me assist you.
okay,
So the
thank you.
use cases you mentioned, data collection,
Yes.
right? So data collection across the cloud is one. Then feature engineering is another one. Relevant purchase history, behavior. You already mentioned some of the things, right? Demographic data, usage patterns, and stuff like that. Then multi-cloud integration, AWS SageMaker. These are the kinds of things you have to do. Okay.
Yes. And
Now,
one
question
example.
begin.
Yeah, sorry for that. And K means algorithm, as we can see recently, usually let's suppose when we go to Amazon for shopping. So we see the similarities. If we go on YouTube, so then it shows us the similar content. So this is
Because it is studying you, it is studying your behavior, it is checking all
exactly
key things
based on those behaviors, then the
and
implementation.
patterns. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's how the AI works in the background, right? All right, so let's jump on to easier questions.
Okay.
Okay, so you mentioned AI-driven compliance and threat detection, right? Uh, so compliance as a code, compliance as a code, how can you integrate that within the cloud, multi-cloud environment where you use all the key controls as identified by these different respective geographical places where they have their own standard requirements, right? So how can you make sure that compliance as a code is embedded within the cloud environment as per the geolocation?
So, okay. It's mean when we talk about as per the geolocation depends upon in which geographical area we have, and then it's mean according to the geographical location we need to implement our compliance. Let's suppose if we are in a European region with the EU countries, we have to care our general data protections. If we are in uh, USA, then are in somewhere in California, then we have to go for California consumer protections. So it's mean within the EU, within within EU cluster or within AW, if we deploy, let's suppose the AW, so the within AW region, which is hosting our services in EU, the implementation will be general data protection. The cloud, the compliance, what we need, the rules and regulation, what we need, they will follow the general data protections. If we talk
So
about, let's suppose
essentially,
I
you
am
will
in based
use
in,
you will use the hard code the template with the compliance requirements. That was the
yes,
answer. That was
exactly. The compliance as a code, it's mean we codify
yes.
those rules and regulations in our software development lifecycle. This is so-called mean one of the term I mentioned actually when these uh, are built in rules or regulation our software development life cycle. It's mean then we talk about the security as a code. So mean they are really built in from the day one during the development life cycle.
So you mentioned in your presentation AI threat detection tools like Microsoft Sentinel, AWS Guard Duty, right? So on and so
Yes.
forth. How can you address the challenges of zero-day vulnerabilities or detect novel threats in a constantly evolving threat landscape? How would you do that?
So if
Because they can
this
only
is
detect as per the database, but is there something else they have?
yes, when we talk about the AI driven, it's mean if we look just let me explain to you. If we look for the old traditional uh, threat detection mechanism, they work, let's suppose, so-called the rule-based. What the AI does, it constantly keep on learning the new threats. The models are keep on
What do
constantly
you call that
updating.
learning methodologies? There are two kinds. What do you call them?
Uh, One is supervised learning and
Yes.
unsupervised
Yes.
learning. Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So essentially, it's a discussion of you have to train your systems
Model.
for adversarial training, you know, uh, using continuous learning policies, profiles, pipelines, right? External threat feeds. There are many things coming in, right?
Mm,
That's how you
me,
train the system,
yes,
utilizing hybrid approach for supervised and unsupervised learning techniques so that they can
exactly.
adapt to unknown threat vectors. That's what the organizations are doing. Just recently, I set up a DevSecOps department, right? So our data was leaking from our website. So we started plugging the gaps
Mm,
by doing scans and stuff like that. But now we are following internally within our own organization uh, platform independent model, PIM, for DevSecOps, so that we can train the AI that we are using, which is known as Albari, to train it to be able to basically identify potential threats that can come up within our network, right? There's a ton of things you have to do. All right, so it's a good answer. Risk management, right? Um, Tell me, you mentioned SageMaker AI, Azure AI for proactive risks management, right? What matrix would you establish to measure the effectiveness of these AI tools? I mean, how can you measure? Our CTO says if you can't measure, you won't know what is happening. You can't quantify it. You need to quantify, right?
yes.
Like as since you're a Muslim, in Islam we have uh, two angels writing our deeds. So this is my right hand, this is my left hand. So the right hand guy he write down
The
the
good
good
deeds.
deeds. The left hand guy he write down the bad deeds, right?
Yes.
Because that is our book of deeds that will be shown to us. So even Allah is going to provide us everything that we have done, right? So
Yes.
that is how Allah will measure us. On the day of judgment, there will be scales, right? How we
Yeah.
will be measured, right? Because now there are non-Muslims here as well, so I have to give them different examples. So how would you measure? You
Uh,
mentioned some of the things. How would you measure
yes.
the AI effectiveness?
Yes. The term is used in fact, but you code is a half apart. If you cannot measure, you cannot manage.
Yes.
To manage those risks, it means you need to measure them. So during the measurement, all those risks, at least each risk has to be quantified. Each risk has to be given a certain, we should say the rating, low, medium, high, either 0, 1, 2, 3. And then based on those risks, you have to adapt uh, whatever the strategy you do. Based on those ratings or quantifications, you adopt the strategy.
So
Either you,
essentially, we are talking about mean time to detect, mean time to repair, mean time
yes,
to
exactly,
respond.
exactly. Yes. And then later stages, this is what I am saying. And then based on those, our quantification or qualification, either low, medium, high, we adopt the strategy. What could be the acceptance, risk avoidance, risk transfer, or risk mitigation?
Good.
I hope I answered that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Have the confidence. You have the experience. Have the confidence. If you do the same thing in the States or in UK, you can work as a director. Okay. So just prepare yourself to be at that level, inshallah. Okay. Uh, the only thing I might add is like there are accent coaches, right?
Yes,
So you may have to talk to a guy who can teach you to build up that accent, right? That's
yeah,
it. There's nothing else you need. I mean, essentially, you have the knowledge and the experience. Okay. All right. So in the AT&T case study you mentioned, it shows significant improvements using SageMaker.
yeah.
What would you do differently to achieve similar results in a smaller scale organization with limited resources? Obviously, Sage is very expensive, SageMaker. What would you do? There are so many open source alternatives available.
Uh, exactly. So to deploy in a cloud,
What
definitely.
kind of, so
uh,
let me rephrase it. What open source LLMs can you use that can give you, similar, if not better results than SageMaker? Well, that's a relative question, not better because SageMaker is trained continuously. But like, uh, I mean, either you drive a Toyota or Honda, or you drive a Porsche or like a Maserati or Aston Martin, right? So it
Mm,
depends on how, but it will take you from point A to point B anyway. So you have taken a Range Rover, a Land Rover, and I'm just driving a Honda Odyssey. This is what I have, right? So, but we will both reach the airport at the same time. You may come in class, but you will be there and I will be there, right?
uh,
Which is
okay,
relative. The class is relative. So, like, what other LLMs can I use?
uh, okay, at this stage, definitely we have a multiple language models which are available in open source. Unfortunately, I can't remember the exact name of the model, but what we can do in those LLM, that, as I mentioned earlier, that we have a IP anomaly detections models which could be used to train those models, and then we could deploy that models. Okay, yes, it depends upon the organization resources. As if we look on the two main challenges what the small organization that moment they have, either it's financial and the trained manpowers. So if these two things are already over there, so then, but if unfortunately I can't remember the exact name of
You
LLM.
don't have to remember the names. When you're stuck in that kind of situation, you don't have, because there are so many things coming up. There is Falcon, there is GPT Neo, GPT this, GPT. So it's so many things. Always come up with a solution, with an answer, the proper, and you did the right thing. He said, I don't know specific LLMs because it depends. There are so many LLMs. It depends on what your business requirements are.
Requirement is exactly.
When you're sitting
With
for an interview in the States or in UK, wherever you are, right? You have to say, it depends on your business requirements. You can drive a Toyota, a Honda, a Lexus, a Tesla, an Aston Martin, a Range Rover, Land Rover, whatever, right? All of these cars will take you from point A to point B. What depends is, what is your budget? What are your resources? What are your requirements? And based on that, I can recommend to you what you should do, right? This is the proper answer. So remember this thing because this is going to help you significantly. I give you full marks for that because you said, you know, it depends. But LLMs names doesn't matter. They can be, one day in a week time, you will have 10 different LLMs popping up and two or three disappearing away, right?
exactly.
So
Yes,
it
yes.
doesn't matter. What matters is that you should know
Technique.
what are the business requirements are, because this is the most important thing that you're getting right now in your interview. This is your preparation for your job interview, right? This is the most important thing.
I
All
hope
right.
I will
So
get the recorded copy for that. I hope I will get the recorded session.
this is recorded. This is going
I
live.
will get it.
So you can
Okay.
keep it, you can download it from YouTube, whatever you want to do, right?
Oh,
So yes, absolutely. Keep it so that you're ready to answer these questions, right? Okay. Okay, so multi-cloud GRC challenges. You emphasize on GRC challenges in a multi-cloud environment. So looking at your presentation, if an organization is simultaneously running workloads in AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM, Alibaba, whatever, right? How would you implement a unified GRC framework while
so
accounting for unique capabilities and limitations in each platform? Remember, I always talk about in my courses, unified risk and management framework. So
yes,
that's a hint
exactly.
for you.
Yes, this is definitely one way. Unified risk management and unified incident management, unified network management, unified resource management. I mean, we need, let's suppose in my example, one of the example which I mentioned over here, the cloud custodian. Cloud custodian is an open source tool which could integrate whatever the cloud we have, and it gives us a single pane visibility. At the end, we use one term so called, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, if we cannot measure, we cannot manage. So we need to have a visibility, a clear visibility for each and every cloud. As soon as we have a visibility, as soon as we have a clear view of our data, to collect data is one thing, but to know how this data powered up our business resource, our business application, that's what it matters. And this cannot be achieved without a unified management system.
So what you need to do is like create a unified governance, risk, and compliance framework, leveraging APIs for real-time policy enforcement. So that's what you have to do. Yes, you mentioned you need unified risk management, incident management, unified networks utilization, resources usage. Yes, but essentially the question was, how would you how would you implement a unified GRC framework? The answer is you will create a module that will call different APIs, right? To see, okay, this network resides in the US. The customers are US. In which county? In which state? Is it in California? Yes, it's in California. So for all the Californian residents, strict privacy requirements. All of these things should be embedded in the infrastructure as a code template, as a GRC as a code. Push it there, right? And then that requirements comes here. European comes over here. North, South American comes over here, right? Oceania, like Australia, New Zealand, they come over here. So then you say, okay, these are all the different commands, all the different things that we need to implement, right? That's what
And
you have.
then to aggregate each and every.
Yes, I will give you half marks for that because you were able to answer it, but the answer needs to be in a very formalized fashion so that you can present it in a way that it captures, right? And it gets the work done. Okay. All right. So the next thing is shared model challenges, shared responsibility model challenges, right? So when you're moving from infrastructure as a code to software as a service, how would you verify the compliance requirements when using SaaS platform for sensitive data? You mentioned PCI DSS in there. How would you do that?
So in software as a service, the whole resources are provided by a service providers. It's mean the responsibility comes under the service provider.
How would you verify?
So,
Verification.
okay. So the verification definitely, I mean, the verification comes from the service provider in terms of written agreements. This is what I could see at moment.
No, SOC reports you mentioned. SOC
Okay,
reports,
okay.
PCI compliance.
Yes, the PCI compliance reports, SOC reports, and I mean all the compliance reports. I mean,
Yes.
this is either it's
You
a.
missed
I
a very
mean,
easy
then
score. Anyway.
exactly it depends upon. Sorry for that. Then the software where I am using my service, and according to again the same terms in the geographical location where it resides, then I need to follow all those compliance based on that geographical area region.
Okay, so market analysis based question, right? So I'm going to ask you different kinds of questions. This is market. So competitive advantage or competitive landscape. Given the widespread adoption of AI driven tools, every organization is now looking into adopting these different kinds of tools, right? Okay. So there's guard duty, there's Centennial, GCP has some of their own, IBM some of their own, Alibaba, Oracle Financial,
Right.
all Oracles, like all of them, they have something or the other, right? What do you
Yes.
think are the primary differentiators between these tools? And how should a mid-sized organizations choose between them? Again, it's a follow-up question from the previous answer you already did.
Uh, again, exactly. So again, as it depends upon the organization needs, the budget. Budget is number one, which is so-called the cost optimization, and then the trained workforce. If looking on these two things. They are the main drive force for an organization. And yes, again, the cost comparison, they could do the cost comparison between all these service providers. And then based on those cost provisioning, let's suppose if they have to choose a EC2 service in AWS, what is the cost? Similar service, what Azure is providing, the cost analysis. So they need to do the comparison, and
Yeah.
then they need to
So
look
comparison of ease of integration, cost, benefits, structure, scalability, compatibility, all of these kinds of things, right? Okay, good, good. All right, so AI ethics. It's a very big topic. Employees are asking questions. Departments are asking questions. What is happening internally within the company? And people are doing masters and PhD on AI ethics. In my view, it's a very simple thing, but you don't have to do a PhD or something like that. But like, people are doing it. And I know a couple of people who did their PhD dissertation on this thing. Total waste of time, right? But this is their own thing that they want to do. It's okay. Now, you mentioned responsible AI practices, right? How would you respond to recent regulatory developments, which is happening around the world, like in EU AI Act? This is something new that impose stringent compliance requirements for AI models. This is the problem. But you can just come up with one policy and that's it. But there are many other things happening as well. So do you know anything about the European AI Act?
I don't know, but there is the standard which is so-called AI risk management framework. There is
Yes,
another
there is.
standard, ISO 42001, if I am remembering the right, which is
24027, something like that.
exactly.
There's
So, which is
42,000 and there's 42,000 because we are also, uh, let me open my own because we are following that,
okay, okay.
so let me show you something. So remember this sheet. This is very important for you to understand, right? So these are the key goals. I mean, we have our own key goals, and for that we are implementing different things. This is the 42,001.
42,001. Okay.
Now, there's only one organization in the world which is certified with 42,000,
I think
right?
it's Saudi
In Saudi
organization.
Arabia, yes, right? The Saudi Ministry of AI, but some ministerial, agency, something. In the West and in the European Union, everyone is now trying to implement this. Big
Okay.
jobs, huge payday, right? If you just look in and say ISO 42,000, right? One jobs in USA or salary is 42,001, right? Yeah. One lead auditor or implementer jobs, right? Salary. You will see these guys are commanding some good salaries. See,
Hmm.
just
Oh,
the
okay.
AI product, these are AI product managers. Now, within the Al Razak, we are giving you tasks and labs, how to complete all of these things. You see, these are our different teams in our own organization, right? And this is C-level is managing everything. This is me. Then there's the digital transformation team. Then there's the project management, AI ops, DevOps, SysOps, cybersecurity, GRC. There is SMS. There is a long list of things, right? So
Okay.
these are all the documents, and then altogether there are like around 46 documents
Procedures.
that you have to comply with. If you learn this,
Yes, sir.
the implementation, you can get an EB visa like this,
Oh, that's great. Oh,
right?
yeah.
Your title will be AI product manager, AI implementation auditor, AI, ethics consultant. This is where the ethics is coming in.
And
So
they
learn this. This will
and
be
they are in
coming
our
Al Razak. All of my
uh,
core courses now are part of Al Razak, right? So Al Razak will become a requirement for everyone to follow. from January of 2025
Oh,
onwards.
okay.
It'll become a
Okay.
requirement, right?
So it's
So
mean I am lucky.
you,
I am passing before.
yes, you're passing early. I mean, you're passing just be MCQs in an interview presentation, but now whoever's coming in, they have to do this. And
Right.
it depends on diploma. This one, AI Ops AIMS implementation, is only in AI Ops diploma,
Okay.
level 6, right?
Okay.
So if you really want to do these things, you should pay attention to Al Razak. This is going to help you significantly, right? So my recommendation to you is that. So for the ethics purposes, what do you think are the most important things to consider?
For the ethics purposes, I mean the fairness, fairness is very important. And then the biasing, current the models as I think we learn in our diploma, if a model is trained on Africa geographical region, it cannot be implemented in EU region or vice versa. So so-called biasing. So the solution of biasing, so it should be biased free. It should be a fair. And then so-called terms, if any decision has been implemented on, then the AI should explain why why this decision has been taken. So these are in my thought what I could understand until now.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the ethics says, but here's the problem. You know, the West, I mean, you got the point. The West, they try to implement democracy on other countries, saying you got to implement this, you got to implement this, right? Without even taking into consideration their religion, their ethics, and
Yeah.
all of these kind of things, right? So they impose their model,
Yes.
right?
One model
Uh,
doesn't fit for all. Yeah.
so same like for the human beings, Allah has given us a model, Quran and Sunnah, right?
That's
But we create different models, right? And
right.
the West says, like, you know, you mentioned that you said like if a data is trained for Africa region, for African countries, you can't implement that model on in North America. So that's not going to work.
Yes.
It's not going to work, right? So
Yes.
you need to basically use the same culture, same all of those things to implement the model properly. There's only one model in the world that can be implemented out of the gate without any problems.
Yes. And that's our model
Yes,
behaves
that is
on.
our model, the Quran and Sunnah. That's it.
Unfortunately, I mean, yeah, we are
Okay.
far away.
All right. So I think I've covered pretty much, like, it is not necessary I have to ask you 20 questions because there were so many things going on. And we covered all the key things, right?
Okay.
Um, do you have any questions for me?
Definitely, I have a question. One is about this my results, and definitely, uh, one first of, I mean, before I ask any question, to be honest, I would like to say thank you to you, thank you to Mr. Yusuf, thank you to whole Al Nafi team. These 2 3 years, I started actually from diploma career advancement technology from CAT. Okay, I always pray for Tariq Bhai. Honestly, it was my first intro
Yeah,
with them.
he was our
Yes,
CTO.
exactly. My first
Uh,
introduction was with them, a call for a few minutes, and then I was able to talk to you 2 3 years back,
his
where I
daughter
explained.
is one of his daughters. He has very pious kids, mashallah. All of us are working, all of them are working with us, most of them, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
His daughter is sitting here. So, Era Tariq.
Hey,
السلام عليكم.
walaikum
Yes.
assalam, walaikum assalam.
So yes, I mean, you know, when he joined the company, prior to him joining the company was all over the place. And it was very difficult for me to manage things. So he came on board and he shared his wisdom and he helped us root out all those people who were cheating us.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Right. So there was a lot of wastage. There was a lot of fraudulent activities going on. So he put the ship direction in the proper direction. I mean, the ship was all over the place. It was like going through tumultuous time, right?
oh,
So
yeah,
he put it in the right place and said, okay, now we have to sail straight. Because I gave him everything, I said, I need to focus on a couple of other things. Unfortunately, this is the will of Allah. Like he left the
yes.
world early on. But, you know, alhamdulillah, like He has pious kids, and all of these kids who are doing good deeds is going into his deeds scale. So yeah, I mean, yeah,
This is so-called Sadqa Jariya. So
yeah.
may Allah grant him high rank in the heaven. Honestly,
I
I do always pray for him. So may Allah grant him.
mean, his kids are very happy, mashallah. She just recently got married, so Tariq.
Okay. Congratulations and best of luck for upcoming life. Yes, as I was saying, yeah, thank you. So as I was saying, honestly, my son already started diploma in cloud cybersecurity. He is a grade 10 student.
He should do
So,
grade 10, he should do BTech
okay,
and AI Ops, HNC, HND, AI Ops. AI Ops already has DCCS, so
okay, yeah.
DevOps, SysOps, AI, so if you go to the States, he will follow you. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And then, I mean, honestly, this was not a very easy journey for me being working with the three young kids. They're all in the teenage life. So it was really very hard. But I really appreciate, I mean, to you, especially to Yusuf Bhai, whenever I have some trouble, whenever I have something which I cannot. So I always call him. He always respond. And each and everybody in your team, I really appreciate the things what you guys are doing. It's really, I mean, if the people could understand that, I don't mention over here, but I am here a member of one community where we have almost 200 to 300 families. Okay, so I have spread this message to everybody on every second day. And Alhamdulillah, there are almost 10 to 15 people who have joined the diploma, who have joined Al Nafi, especially the young ones. They cannot afford. I know how difficult it is, and they already mean some of them are really from families where they don't have enough money, so they started Al Nafi because they are getting what they need to do. So thanks very much, everybody. This is what I would like to see. And the second, as you say, the question, yes, my wife is looking on me when, I mean, you will get the result, either it's pass or failed. So I have to answer them. Okay, no, I have to wait or whatever. Uh,
Okay. So yeah, I mean, that was a good session. Jazakallah khair. In the presentation, you scored 19 out of 25. Okay.
okay,
Uh, and in the interview session, you scored 20.92, almost, 21, I would say, out of 25, right?
okay.
I believe you're coming in the top 5% of the students. Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
So
Alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah. So yeah, I mean, you now have to take your wife for dinner or something like that tomorrow.
My kids are waiting and my wife is waiting. So,
What's the time right now on your side of the world?
yeah, it's 15 to 9, 8:45.
You guys can still, tomorrow's Friday's off.
Uh, yes, before I go out with them, I have to go somewhere. Another meeting is already waiting for me, and I should
Okay.
join
So
that.
you scored altogether, I would say 40 out of 50. Okay.
Okay,
So that's a
okay.
good
Thank
score
you.
that you scored, mashallah.
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
Now, this is my, uh, you know, closing remarks. Your things will be compiled up. Just
Okay,
recently, we started going through a lot of audits because of the off-call purposes. We are doing it in advance before we even file the application. Our application is already ready. As I said, we got the Pearson. Your son, who's in 10th grade, should study BTech,
okay.
HNC, HND, and AI Ops. With AI Ops, he will already be doing DCCS anyway, right?
Yes, these
So
three.
there's in AI Ops, there is DCCS, there is DevOps, SysOps, and AI Ops. So this way, in the next, like, BTech is 2 years, HNC, HND 4. So within 4 years, you'll be able to complete BTech, HNC, HND, and AI Ops, right? All together.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Okay.
studies for him. If he does
Yeah.
all of that, he will be able to apply for any university, like almost like 1,000 universities in the US where he can apply, right? Don't go for the top ones, go for the middle or the lower ones. The lower ones are better because the fee is lower and he will be able to apply there, so on and so forth. Hopefully, if you apply. Now, for you, this is my recommendation for you. You're
Yes.
42 years of age. You uh, should apply. How many kids do you have?
I have three kids.
3 kids. You should apply for a master's program in, so there are 2 routes for you. You can apply for a
Okay.
master's program in the US, go there for a
Mhm.
master's, right?
Okay.
That's one way of doing it. With the family and everything, you may have to show up a larger bank statement or something like that. But the other option is you should go to US on a B1, B2 visa, right? And then apply for your EB visa from there.
Okay.
Uh, we can assist you in the EB visa. You have already completed diploma in AI ops. I'm already assisting someone right now. This
Okay.
is the third or fourth person, I would say, that he's
Okay.
going through the EB visa assistance, right? So you can get that if you complete some of the core requirements. Diploma is already done. MashaAllah. Again, congrats to you and your family. You have to do Al Razak, that's a requirement, and you have to pass a specialization exam from ISACA, from IC Square. Go for any one of them. That is going to be
What is
beneficial.
the recommendation? What is the recommendation? Which course I should follow? Because definitely I need to move on.
So you have to go and study. We don't have much time because I have to wrap this up, right? So
Okay.
you can read about all of those things online on the website. Is all the data is available. You can
Okay.
connect to Taqir Bhai, who is our director of sales. I believe he's sitting here. Taqir Bhai is here. Taqir Iqbal is here. Yes, right. So he
Okay.
can guide you. If you want to have the EB visa assistance, you have to be in the States first of all, either on
Okay.
B1, B2 or student visa. Going on a student visa is easier for you. You already have all the core requirements done. Start applying it for some time in next year, September, not
Okay. September.
March, September,
September.
right? So
Okay.
go there in September, but prior to going there, complete some of the other things. So if you land on it there with all of these things, after doing 1 year of master's, you will be able to find remote job anyway. For the
Hmm.
EB visa, we do offer remote jobs for our own because then you have to become a trainer with us. You have to train and teach,
But
right?
I mean,
You'll be paid for that. You'll be paid,
yeah.
right, for that. And that is going to give you sustainable income so that you can live there while you are studying or doing whatever, right? That's going to be good enough for you.
Okay.
But at the same time, this will also help you secure your EB visa as well. Because after completing your master's for 1 year, you
Okay.
will be able to get 3 years of work permit. Now, just today,
Mhm.
I've received multiple references from different universities where our students are applying.
Okay.
After completing their AI ops, they're applying for multiple universities, right? So I have to complete their reference forms, right?
Okay.
So I already did that for New York University, Virginia University, uh, North Dakota. There's so many other universities all over the place. So you can apply, find the cheapest one you can get, which can provide you access to basically the STEM degree work permit. This is the most important thing. So US is a good option for you. If your son goes with you, he will be able to settle down quite faster.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
US
Inshallah.
is there, UK option is there, you know, US or UK, wherever you go, you can file for Canadian on the sidelines anyway. Okay. This is my
Thank you.
recommendation.
Thank
Congrats
you
to
so much,
you.
sir. Thank you
And
so much, sir.
if you have any questions, you can always come back to me. The academic operations team will reach out to you in the next 1 to 2 weeks about the next steps of when you will be issued the diploma. It may take 4 to 6 weeks,
Okay. No, no issues.
or it
No
may
issues.
be earlier as well. I don't know. It depends on them, right? They
No,
have to
no
come
issues.
up
No
with
issues. I can wait. And in the meantime, I have already started the Al Razak labs. So then I will
the last thing I'm going to
continue.
recommend to you, do the Al Razak labs, do all the other things. Everything is good. What I'm looking for is the knowledge, the skills, and everything. Get yourself an accent coach. If you have an accent coach, he can help you. There's nothing you need except that. Everything is perfect. You can apply
That's
for very good positions here, inshallah.
inshallah. Thank you so much. I
Okay.
just have a one request.
Yes,
A couple of times, I think 1 or 2 times we talk, maybe 1 or 2 years early, to review my resume. So I got actually one resume. So if you could please just
you can send it to me right now. Send me the message on my WhatsApp. Normally, I don't check WhatsApp, but I will save your number and I will do that for you.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I will send immediately. It will be from UAE number with the name
Yeah,
Muhammad Afzal. So,
send it over there. Okay.
uh,
Okay.
so
Jazakallah khair, inshallah.
thank you
Okay.
so much, sir. Jazakallah. Thank you.
Assalamu
Assalamu
alaikum.
alaikum wa rahmatullah.